Guess who's back? Back again. Nico's back. With another terrible Design With Me video. Where do I even start with this one? First of all, hi chat, good to see you again. My name's Nikocado Avocado, and I've lost my bonkers thanks to this video.
I don't speak Spanish!
And, no, it's not because I got sick. It's because my non-existent brain exploded, and I had the worst time of my life designing new OCs. Like, this episode was meant to be out months ago, but the problem is, I'm not a competent artist. I'm far from it, in fact. I'm a dumb stupid head, and I think you guys should crucify me for it. So, I made my own Discord kittens. They're very cute, they're very silly, and they're very hard to draw. Their names are Misaki, Louise, and Thomas, and I'm going to show you how I designed them today. But before we get into that, let me share a little bit of lore. Let me tell you all the dumb things I've written about my Discord kittens, also formerly known as Werecats in Alagata. So, you might be wondering, what the hell are werecats? Well, it's in the name. They're a type of were creature that possess both human and feline features, which vary from person to person. Some werecats are more anthropomorphic, while some are more theriomorphic. A good example of this would be the differences between kimonomimis and jujins in anime. One's a wannabe furry, and the other's an actual furry, but they all have the ability to shapeshift into a normal cat willingly. The way these creatures came to be in Alagata is very stupid, and honestly, if I was a professional author with a New York Times best-selling book, I'd get stoned for this, but hear me out. If you watched episode 2 of this series, you'd know the world of Alagata has 6 main dragon rulers, or gods, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. What I didn't really go in depth about in that episode were the descendants of these dragons, like the Love Dragon or the Electro Dragon, for example. In this case, however, we're talking about the Time Dragon, and boy oh boy, they're an idiot. This buffoon, whom I don't have a design for yet, went back in time and couldn't resist petting a cute kitty cat, and all of a sudden, when they come back to their original timeline, they see bipedal felines talking English in the streets of fantasy Europe. Oh no, the Time Dragon muttered, I done fucked up. But yeah, that's basically the origin story for werecats. No, I'm not joshing you. I'm being 100% serious with this explanation. Am I purposely missing out details to make this sound more ridiculous? Yeah, but it's funnier this way. So, got all that useless information stored in your noggin now? Good, because it's completely irrelevant to the characters we're designing today. I just wanted to lore dump about their species a bit. You know what I'm like. But anyway, let's stop the bullshit and cut to the chase already. First on our roster is Misaki, so let's get right into it. Misaki Aikawa, also known as Misa, is a love fairy and a senior at Feywood High. She aspires to become a pop star one day and produces music with her boyfriend Nathan during their free time. She's also the founder of a very big J-fashion group that regularly organizes events in Alagata. Usually, she hosts these events in her home district, but tries her best to branch out whenever she can. Misa's one of the most well-liked students on campus due to her kind personality and gorgeous looks. You'll usually see her hanging out with her girlfriends and her boyfriend, and my golly gee, I genuinely think she's one of my prettiest OCs yet. Right off the bat, I want to give credit to Makini Art because most of my inspiration from Misa comes from her. Her Gyaru depiction of Caddy Noir lives in my head rent-free. It's so damn pretty. Without that drawing, I wouldn't have made Misa, and even if I did, I would be struggling like crazy. So please check out Makini Art on Instagram. Her style is wonderful, and her caddy was a great start for me to figure out my own design. With that being said, Misaki is a character I genuinely enjoyed making right from the get-go. Gyaru is one of those Japanese subcultures I really like, but don't know much about, and I've been trying to learn more about it thanks to designing her. After all, I thought it would be a fun challenge to make a gal OC, and if I wanted to make a gal OC, I had to learn the subculture to make the character as good as I can. So, for a few days, I was reading a bunch of articles and wikis about different Gyaru styles. I was browsing Ageha magazines for general inspiration. I was searching up clothing brands like Mars and Gold's Infinity for ideas on clothes. And I also found out about the gal group Black Diamond, which prompted me to give Misa her own J Fashion Circle, cause why not? It's silly. It's cool. During my research, I noticed I gravitated towards the Agejo style a lot, which I think is the same style Makini Art was using for her caddy design, which checks out since I love it a lot. We established that already, so let's move on. I noticed big, intricate hairdos were very popular in the Agejo style. I saw so many pictures of gals with curls done up high, and I really like that. So I incorporated it into Misa's design. I also noticed lots of lace trims being used for these gals' clothing, and I saw a bunch of them wearing stockings and fishnets too, and I adore those, so that was an immediate yes from me. Misaki's top was directly inspired by that Gyaru Kari's top. That's pretty obvious by now. The cardigan with the bow is... I kind of just pulled that out of my ass to make her look complete. And then her accessories and nails. Well, I noticed heavily decorated nails were popular in Agejo, so I ran with it. Same goes for the accessories. I was gonna give her a designer bag too, but I got too lazy, so oopsies. Overall, it was very fun drawing Misa's concept chibi, and it was also fun finishing her final drawing. I will admit though, the concept was easy to make, but the final art? It wasn't easy at all. I kept adding more details to Misa the more I worked on her, which made things more challenging, but honestly, it was worth the struggle in the end. Like, I'm very proud of Misaki's design. She is so gosh darn pretty, and I love big women. I need more big women characters so bad, I swear. But alas, that's all the positive things I can say about her design process. I really don't know if she's an accurate portrayal of Agejo or even Gyaru in general, and I hope she is. I love Gyaru a lot, and I don't want to disrespect any gals out there that might be watching me. I also hope to God her design isn't a complete ripoff of Gyaru Kari Noir. They're very similar, and it's making me sweat bullets, chat. I know I joke a lot about plagiarizing random shit, but I don't actually want to do it, so I hope I managed to alter Misa enough to be her own character. If not, I'm so cooked. I'm gonna get cancelled on YouTube.com. Art commentators are gonna rip my ass apart. Oh lord. Anyway, time for some fun facts. Misaki's clothes are usually designed by her or bought by her boyfriend and her parents. Her favorite flowers are roses, hence why she has them in her hair. She's a very stereotypical love fairy, and she tries her best to befriend everyone, no matter how much of a bitch someone might be. But if you start insulting her boy-fail lover, it's Jover. No one gets to bully her Pookie like that. Get out of her sight before she starts clawing your face off. She got a lot of her piercings when she was 16 to 17, by the way. The ones on her ears she pierced herself, which pissed her parents off like crazy. Rightfully so, may I add. Please don't do that. It's pretty dangerous. I say as if I didn't watch my sister do the same thing years ago. Anyway, I got Misaki's name from Misa Amane. I love Death Note a lot, and I just think the name Misa is cute. Her surname, Aikawa, I pulled that one out of my ass as well, to be honest with you. What else can I say to hit the 1K word mark for this section? Right. I forgot to draw her tail. I didn't notice that until it was too late, and I'm too lazy to add it in. No, I'm not sorry about it. Also, her belly button ring is directly lifted from the brand Maple Rose on Amazon. I'll link that down below for you guys to check. P.S. I don't know if Maple Rose are the original designers of this piercing, but I got it from them, so I'm crediting them. There's a lot of replicas out there. Even Shine has one, which is surprising, but also not really surprising at the same time. Just search the piercing yourself if you're interested. With that being said, let's move on to our next Werecat, Louise Huxley. Louise is a time fairy and is favored high as a one and only wizard. He teaches anything magic related to his students, from defensive spells to unnecessary ways to turn your friend into a frog. Louise is a pretty talented fellow, but he's very eccentric as well, which tends to turn people away from him. And I can't really blame them for that, cause how do you react when you see your furball of a teacher fall from the ceiling 10 minutes late into the lesson? Like, yeah, that sounds cool, but also, what the fuck? Louise was a very difficult character to design for me, and that's entirely my fault. I haven't drawn furries in so long, and I did not have enough references to help me during his concept phases. I literally only used 2 references for this man, and the first one, which is what made me create him in the first place, is this dumb edit of a cat and owl hybrid. No, I'm not messing with you. I saw this picture on Instagram and I was like, ooh, what if I make it my OC? And I swear my life got even worse after that. Making Louise was the worst decision of my life. It took weeks to finish this man. Weeks! I have several drafts of his outfit that didn't make the final cut, and at some point, I just wanted to give up on art entirely. Like, I'm still amazed I managed to persevere, but god damn, what a terrible way to start trying furries again. But with that being said, I was looking at real animal pictures for references when I did his concept art. Specifically, I was using Maine Coon cat photos to figure out how fluffy I wanted Louise to be. I also used pictures of Eurasian eagle owls. They're the owls that look pissed off constantly with their long, quote-unquote, eyebrows. And I thought they were so cunty. Like, they're sassy as hell in every picture I see of them. And I was like, ooh, neat. And that's how we got this meow abomination. You're welcome. I didn't really know what vibe I wanted Louise to have other than eccentric, flamboyant wizard, which for some reason led me to Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. If you don't know, I love Studio Ghibli a lot, and I really wanted Louise to have similar attire to Howl. I wanted him to have a cool coat and a white flowy blouse underneath, but unfortunately, I didn't like the look on him, and I ditched the idea entirely. Slowly, my drafts on Louise started to look less and less like Howl and just became a mix of things my brain came up with without references. I'm sure there's some underlying influences here and there, but I can't recognize them, so I can't credit anything. From the start, however, I knew I wanted Louise to have a blue overcoat, specifically a robe with golden glitter and a Chesterfield pattern on his sleeves. I think it turned out very pretty, and I noticed I kept adding more details the more I worked on him. That seems to be a reoccurring pattern in this episode. Like the corset, for example, and the little trinkets he has on his waist. Those were kind of unnecessary to add in, but it really gave more character to Louise, so I don't regret it at all. Also, the ruffles and flowers at the bottom of his robe are genius. I specifically drew the marvel of Peru flowers due to their history and also just the fact that they bloom at night. These flowers are so gorgeous, and I could ramble about their history and relevance to Louise, but I won't. Just know that this man has a very heavy moon motive to him, and there's definitely lore behind it, so keep that in mind for the future. Wink wink. Also, you might have noticed, I didn't draw his wings in the final art. Why? Well, number one, wings are extremely hard to draw, so I can't be bothered, and number two, if I drew his wings, the template I have for reference sheets would be too small for him, so no thank you. This line of reasoning also applies to my other characters, by the way, like my actual fairy OCs such as Ray or Joey do have wings. I just can't draw them, plus they hide them anyway, so why should I? Oh, and to show how lazy I can be, Louise was meant to have a cool staff, but I gave him a wand instead. I'm so sorry. I'll give him his staff later, I promise. Overall, despite how painful it was to draw this dumbass, I'm very proud of his design, and he really stands out with how vibrant his clothes are. I actually really enjoyed drawing his robe, and his top scars are so cool. We love a character with stylized top scars in this household. That's one of my favorite things to draw and see in art, and I don't know, it just gives me gender euphoria. I think Louise is very pretty. Anyway, here's some fun facts about him. Louise is considered a cryptid in Allegata. He's like a folklore monster werecats like to scare their kids with. Like, this mythical meow is gonna peck your head off and steal your ice cream if you don't get home by curfew. And yes, he actually does steal ice cream from kids. The first part, not so much. He does the pecking thing if you piss him off, so not even the adults are safe. Get your facts right, werecats. You might have noticed this, but Louise has makeup on. He puts on makeup to look more young and attractive because, how do I say this without sounding super crass? He loves women and men. He craves for the love and affection of another being. He's desperate. Someone get this man a spouse. Please. Also, his robes are old. He's been wearing that for decades now. It's like a staple part of his personality at this point. Oh, and the little heart necklace he has is a locket, and if you open it, there's a picture of his nephew inside. Or his son, whatever you want to call him. And speaking of his nephew, last on our roster is Thomas Huxley. Let's talk about him, shall we? Thomas is a fire fairy, and his favorite eye is unwilling potionology teacher. Emphasis on unwilling. He's only there because Louise forced him to get a job, so he's basically a nepo baby. Despite that, however, he does his job pretty well and makes sure his students don't fuck up and explode the entire campus. Tom's a very gruff and strict man. He was meant to be a judge, but lost his passion halfway through his studies. He's also a divorced single dad who's got a huge soft spot for his daughter, and I love him. Unfortunately, my love for him was not strong enough, because his design has been delayed for almost a whole year now. Yup, you heard that right. Almost a whole year. That's not an exaggeration. He's been living in my basement cold and naked ever since December 2023, and I feel so bad about it. So, how did Thomas come to be? I didn't use clothing references for his design, but I had so many characters in mind for inspiration. To Thomas Connor from Bendy and the Ink Machine, to Almond Cookie and Cappuccino Cookie from Cookie Run, and then to Husk from Hazbin Hotel. Wow! You might be saying, Vamstel's talking about Hazbin Hotel on Maine? Yeah, I am. I don't even like the show, by the way. It's not my cup of tea. I just really love Husk and Angel Dust, and when I heard Husker's new voice actor was Keith David, I was running. It's so funny too, because I'm sure you can't see any direct influence from Husk and Thomas, aside from his surname being Huxley. Hell, Louise is the one who literally looks like Husk, and he wasn't even a part of his inspiration. That was completely unintentional in my part, and I find it hilarious. But, yeah. I struggled so much with Tommy, and it wasn't because of a lack of references. It was because Thomas is a very plain character. He's like every dude ever who just wears t-shirts and a pair of khaki shorts everywhere they go. He's not like the rest of my OCs, is what I'm trying to say. Tom doesn't really wear fancy fantasy clothing. He thinks they're stuffy and unnecessary, and he's really just a guy, which stumped me like crazy. But then I finished Louise, and then I realized they could share a sun and moon motive together. Suddenly, my motivation went up, and I managed to finish Thomas in 3 days. The concept process after my epiphany was a breeze. All I really had to do was replicate Louise, but with a sun theme, which wasn't hard to do at all. Instead of cool tones, I used warm colors for Thomas, like oranges, yellows, and reds. I also changed the shape of the robe to give him a more distinct silhouette. Specifically, I tried to incorporate a petal shape to his robe, which reminds me of the sundrop flower from Tangled, oddly enough. And then I just added in more detail the more I worked on Tom. Again, that seems to be a reoccurring theme in this episode. How curious. Really, it's just because I love adding in more details. Like, I know they're unnecessary, but it just gives more life to a design, you know? By the way, the flowers on his sash are meant to be morning glories. I feel like I butchered them, but I've already established early on in the series that I can't draw flowers, so don't get mad at me for this. Flowers can suck my ass. I'm sorry, that's so mean. I love flowers, I'm sorry. Anyway, you might be wondering, isn't the robe out of character for Thomas? I thought you said he was a t-shirt and khaki shorts kind of guy. What happened? And you, my dear viewer, are absolutely correct about that. Tommy is still a normie. He doesn't own this robe. Tommy's work clothes are from Louise, and he's forced to wear them because the school staff are required to wear something decent. I mean, who in their right mind would wear a plain t-shirt and shorts while teaching potionology class? Like, if you did that, you'd look like a maniac who broke into the school. It's not appropriate. Besides, Tom takes off the robe right after his class finishes, so for the rest of the school day, he's just in a silly turtleneck and poofy trousers. They're very, very comfortable. The robe, not so much. If he could tear that thing apart, he would. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with Tommy's design. I think he's a very gorgeous man, and he's definitely the most human-looking werecat in today's episode. Like, he doesn't have paws, he doesn't have a tail or fur, he's just got really fluffy hair with horns that look like cat ears, and I think that's adorable. By the way, Thomas sheds when he's stressed. Sometimes you'll randomly see big globs of hair in his classroom, and that means bro's going through it. Man is not dealing with bullshit today. He's stressed, and he's balding. This is a perfect way to segue into the fun facts mini segment. This is definitely not disgusting at all. Anyway, here's some actual fun facts to end the video on. The scars on Tommy's face are completely meaningless. He got them from dumb accidents because, surprisingly enough, he was a jock during his high school days. I know, you're probably wondering, what the hell happened? Divorce, that's what happened. Similar to Louise, Thomas owns a heart necklace with a locket, and if you open it, you can see a picture of Louise holding baby Heather. Heather is Tom's daughter. If you can't tell, she's designed by my good friend Copper. I'll link the drawing down below if I can remember. Tom has a queer platonic boyfriend, and his name is James. He's also designed by Copper, and they're very, Very stupid. I hate them. Louise does not approve of them being together at all and likes to terrorize James whenever they're in the same room. Great family dynamic. Definitely not toxic at all, I know. Other than that, I have nothing else to say, so roll the credits! I don't know how to end this video. I feel very tired writing and recording this script. This episode took so much energy out of me, and I'm so sorry it got delayed for 2 months. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I hope it was entertaining, and if it wasn't, I hope it was at least good background noise. Let me know what you think about my Discord kittens in the comments. Who's your favorite kitten? My favorite's definitely Misaki, because I love pink. I love pink. I say as if I didn't make a new pom-pom Purine layout for this episode. Anyway, have a good week, everyone. I'll see you whenever I reemerge from my coffin. For now, goodbye.